Quickly this week, you've been sending in your questions, and we are here to help answer them. Want to bring back on our medical expert, Dr. David Winter from Baylor Scott & White Health. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, Kara. Good morning.
Good morning. So we hear that there are 2 cases of Omicron variant now in Frisco and 8 identified in Houston. Likely more out there that we don't even know about. Other cases popping up in various parts of the country. So is this new mutation going to surpass the Delta variant as far as a dominant strain goes?
Kara, I won't be surprised if that doesn't happen. If you look in Africa, as recently as October, the dominant strain there was Delta. Now, more than 90% of new cases in South Africa are this new Omicron. So in the battleground in South Africa, Omicron kicked the butt of Delta. I won't be surprised if that doesn't happen here also.
Now, when it comes to the Omicron variant, I've been reading some different stuff from medical experts who talk about how it may be more contagious, but the effects not as great potentially. So what do you anticipate from this Omicron variant as far as striking people here in the North Texas area?
Yeah, I think we can say it's probably more contagious, more transmissible. It's a little bit too early to talk about, is it a more serious illness? Fortunately, it looks like many of the cases now are milder. However, the folks that really get sick with this are just like the ones with Delta, the ones in the hospital, the ones that are dying, the ones that are unvaccinated. Another wrinkle here also, if you've had Delta, you would think you would have, if you have the Delta disease, let me say, you would think you would have some protection against Omicron. Doesn't look like it's true. In fact, if you get Omicron and you're in South Africa, you can get it again. The best way to prevent yourself from getting the Omicron, for that matter Delta, is to get a vaccine. Vaccines do work against this Omicron variant.
So let's talk about booster shots and how it works with Omicron. I actually had a family friend the other day who went to go get his booster and thought that this was going to be a different formula, not realizing that at this point it's not. So how does that impact and how does that work with Omicron? I know there's been talks about changing it up potentially next year.
Yeah, in fact, the drug companies, they're prepared to change the vaccine if need be. So thus far, they're saying we're not sure that needs to happen. Laboratory studies, however, have shown that the longer you've been since you had your vaccine, the less antibodies you have. When you get a booster, they jump back up again. So the thought is that might be important for Omicron in particular. So scientists are encouraging people to get boosters when you can. And we'll see what happens with changing the vaccine later if that happens to be true, happens to be necessary.
So we've seen reports of influenza in North Texas, the good old flu that we've known for years, that takes some of us down and can really be difficult to overcome. I remember having it years ago, and it knocks you in bed for quite some time. So what can you expect in the way of flu infections this year?
Yeah, Carrie, it's coming. The last couple of weeks we've seen the cases start to come up. I worry about this because last year hardly anyone got influenza. I diagnosed no cases, mainly because we're masking and distancing. That works for influenza also. So there's no natural immunity this year for influenza. I expect there's going to be a big surge of that, plus COVID on top of that. We're going to have some problems with access. So I strongly encourage folks to get a flu shot this year more than any other year before. Influenza is on the rise right now.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Winter. We appreciate it. And if I don't see you before, happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well,